So you started off running, was it?
Triathlon. It started with a bet. I was on a 3-day bender and took a bet with a boy that I could beat him in a Derry marathon with no training. And I got the Essex on the Tuesday and landed over the Everglades with a big baggy, longer than these shorts down to me. 3/4 length Primark bad boys, and I had the finishers t-shirt on, and didn't realise that I was the only dickhead that was wearing the finishers t-shirt.
Wears them, do they?
Nobody wears them until you finish it.
A lot of people started there, but I think in Budapest they all seem to have been wearing it out on the run too. It seems to be a thing now people's doing, but
back then,
it never was.
No one was wearing it, bar me, that I could see anyway. But I landed, and at the time I was smoking 30 rollies a day. So the only thing I was thinking about was, this is going to take me 5 hours, and how many rollies I'm going to have. So I was like, I must have had about 6 or 7 in the house, and then I had an hour or 2 at the Everglades. And I remember clear as day, like everyone standing, stretching and doing sprints and taking it all serious, and I stand smoking rollies. Like, I just didn't know what I was getting myself in for, do you know what I mean? I had no watch, I had no concept of miles, because like, I played a wee bit of football, and when I went to the gym in between my session, but so I didn't know what miles felt like, and I got the 5 mile. I remember the first one I seen was onto the bridge. I'm really sure, just at the end of the old bridge, it was a 5 mile marker. I remember thinking to myself, holy shit, like
21 more.
21 more, like 21 more. But I tapped on it all right, and I got to the Bay Road and just out my feet, out of my feet, like.
Did you bet your friend lose a bet or won the bet?
I don't even think he done it.
Oh, so you won then?
Aye.
As long as you finish, you won?
I know. He wasn't even there, like. He's an hour wino too, like, you know, 2 elbows just taking bets with each other. Like, he had an entry, I didn't, you know, but I knew a boy who pulled out, like, so I got your man's entry. Your man never showed up.
What time did it take you?
3 hours and 55-ish, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what my times is while I'm training.
No, I know.
Well, that's excellent.
So that's how it started anyway, but I think I went and played down in Leaf Fair maybe 4 days after and twisted my knee, and the architect in the job I was on in Phily-It, a fella from Mahara, he said to me, he was up for a meeting, he said, that is impressive, you know, see the way they run a sub 4 hour marathon with no training, like, because he would have seen me on there Mondays and Tuesdays, pure yellow, like, you know, from benders, like, so he knew I wasn't training, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he said, I have an old aluminium trek down here, because there was the City of Culture triathlon was in the fall, 6 weeks say after it, and I surfed when I was young, you know,
That's
so
right,
I had no fear of water, like, and I said, Mickey McGorry, my dad's mucker, he done it the year before, and I think he was doing it that year again, and I said, no what, I'll give that a go, like, and done the triathlon, and to be honest, the triathlon was really good, you know, it was really, and then whatever, it just sort of snowballed from there. I used his bike for the next 6 or 7 months, like, and done the lane ball the following year, like.
And how'd you get on the first lane ball?
I done well. I was like 106 or something and finished maybe in it.
What is a lane ball? What is it they do, or what?
So it's 30 lengths to pull, so
Yeah.
750 metres, and then it's down the back stairs, out on the gravel pitch, out past Callahan's, out the Letterkenny Road. It's an honest course. And then you're out the black paths, you know, out from the complex, out towards out there and back on 2-lap course. And my first one I done, I was like coming down on my first lap, and I was sprinting down towards the finishing gantry. And then I was like, second lap, I didn't realise, you know what I mean? I thought I had the 5K.
You thought you were finished.
I was Johnny Big Balls, you know what I mean? Me sprinting like second lap away.
You seen the end, didn't realise?
Fucking hell. But that was the start.
I think you didn't look at no plans before it, or you didn't look at no.
But no, in fairness, I was still drinking and all and smoking. It was until that year, December of that year, that I went off everything. So the first year of me racing triathlon, I was still smoking heavy, like 30 rollies a day. But it was kind of getting to the point where it was like, you need to stop this smoking crack. Like, you know, initially it was the cigarettes, but I couldn't get off them, you know. I just couldn't get off them. And but I was like warming up with smoking, and it's a wee bit disrespectful, when you're biting people and they're taking when you're standing with amber rolling. So, but that was
disrespectful to them, and you're alright.
That's how it was like for the first year. And then it just snowballed from there. I went off a drink again, and
you just went off it because you wanted to focus on the fitness, just there?
No, it was nothing to do with triathlon. No, just everybody had enough of me, you know. I was a disaster, like. It was a fucking disaster, like.
So you were
So
better.
everyone had me out, you know what I mean? My missus and my man and dad were finished with me, and just enough was enough. So I had an epiphany on Boxing Day. I just got up and just said, look, this is the last day you're sitting like this, like, and just, I remember sitting there that day writing stuff down and getting angry, and that was it.
But even that day, did you think then whenever you went to do the sports you were going to go professional in any of it?
No.
Or did you just think it was all fun?
No, because it was all fun. Triathlon was all fun. Like, you know, I didn't have the swimming ability to get really, like, a professional level, we'll call it. Like, I have bit, like that Ironman in Barcelona, I finished ahead of, we'll call them professional athletes, like 8 to 10 of them. But in my head, they're not professional athletes, you know, they're like C level. No, they're like B level at best, triathlete, no professional triathletes. So it's not a sport that, if you don't come from a swimming background, you're not making the gravy. Like, you're just not, like, you know, I mean, for example, say like Cillian Bois, my best time was like 59, 50 something. I mean, your mid-pack professional triathlete could come and do that in like 52 minutes.
Right.
You know, just because of their swimming ability.
Their swimming takes them up.
And their bike and run. Do you know, they're something, a lot of them are like a side of a fiver. Do you know, so, but they just have, like, whereas if you look at Hyrox, for example, you know, there's only a gap of like 4 minutes of a difference. It's just a completely different sport, and at the end of the day, horses, you know, different people suit different courses.
And did you find you suited the Hyrox then as soon as you went on there, or did that take work to get
Hyrox
there?
is definitely more suitable. Like, you know, swimming's hard, like, you know, whereas Hyrox has been on the building sites since I was 16. Just kind of
naturally.
I kind of felt like a hard day on a footing, you know.
I'm sure the 8K definitely wasn't a problem to you.
No, well, I think Hyrox, if you come from a running background, it's a lot easier to get good at the stations. No, it would take a lot longer to get your Ks down to, I don't know, say 340s out of the stations, or 335s, or whatever. Anything under 420s, 410s out of the stations is good running. And the majority of people coming over from a strength side of things really struggle. They're like, they're struggling, like they're like 5 minutes per K. But I think if they give it enough time, they build up their engine, then
they will thrive on it.
Of course, sir.
How long is the Hyrox going about?
2019.
2019.
I never heard it. Until like 2 years ago.
Last year maybe.
Last year it really hit the ground running. But I remember two friends of mine, a big solid fireman and Jared Lundy, both mentioned it to me, but I didn't really dabble too much in it because I had a half Ironman last year booked. But I done a wee sim down in Letterkenny in March, and then I loved it. Like, I really loved it. And then obviously, like the likes of Derry, anyway, in fairness, Big Funny Sweeney, he definitely done well promoting it initially 2 years ago. Like, that's the first person I know of who went and risked it. And he's done a great job of promoting it with these sims and stuff. He runs a good sim, but he was probably the first to really go after it. But
you saying you jumped straight onto a sim without the training of it then? Is that what you're saying? Or did you do a bit of training before you went and done that first sim?
I know, I did more or less wing the first one to a certain degree.
Right.
I did, and I was out my feet. It took me like 5.5 minutes to do the burpees. Oh, hell.
Getting them wrong. I see a lot of people getting them wrong.
I wasn't even getting them wrong, it's just they're so hard, like, see 80 metres. And
I was sweating in Dublin watching everyone do it.
It's hard, like, it's challenging, like the whole thing from start to finish. It's like, but it's good. It's like being in the army or something. Like, it's like being in the mines.
It's drill training more or less.
Exactly. It's like sergeant major stuff. You know, it's who can keep going, like, and it's not easy to do. And I don't think I've reached the potential where I can keep going yet. You know, I don't think my stations are where I think I'll
You think there's room for improvement in every one of your every one of them, or?
My ski erg is probably the only one that's competitive. I can ski like 330, somewhat comfortable, and that's bar like 2 or 3 professional athletes. That's the majority of pros are coming in around that sort of 330, whatever.
Do you think the surfing would have helped with that there ticket?
Definitely. It has to. But my push isn't too bad, but my pull is lacklustrous. My sled pulls. It's a hard. Sled pull's a hard one to explain until you experience it. And the wrists, it's like in sims or in training, a lot of times the carpet that you're using might be only 8 meters in distance or even 10 meters, and the feel on the rope is a lot easier. whenever you put it out to 12.5 meters, sled pull is so hard. Like,
Aye. And is that there where you'll find the most lactative kind of thresholds and stuff like that there, or does that?
the sled push probably builds up the most lactic, in my opinion, because the tension's always on. So whenever you're doing the sled push, it's a constant. You're trying to, you're steady moving it one direction. Whereas with a sled pull, you're down, you're up, and you're pulling, but then you're dropping the rope and you're kind of getting a break, walking forward. So it's kind of a more of whereas the sled push is very hardy.
They are two different events, aren't they? It's not you're pushing then pulling, pushing then pulling. It's one you're pushing it all,
Yeah.
and walking around it and pushing it again, and then one you're pulling around it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
So it's sled push is 50 meters, sled pull is 50 meters. Burpees in Glasgow were probably as good as I could get them. Like, me
from
row.
that day where you had a problem, I'm sure.
No way. Well, it was 2:36, so 3 minutes of an improvement. 3 minutes in one station. When people say how can you get quicker, and like, within a year.
Glasgow one, what did you hit then? End up, what was your time?
58:22.
What was that? And at second, was it?
I ended up 7th overall.
7th overall.
Won my age group and won all the age groups above, but the younger boys came in Saturday night and wrecked the party. Like, but hey, it's only my third. It's only my third go at it. Like, and I genuinely literally couldn't do a pull up last year. I had no strength. And that's stuff. Like triathlon, it's good and it leaves you fit, but you're not all round strong. So that's obviously a low hanging fruit for me. I've really had to try and get a bit stronger and build up the tolerance. The likes of the lunges, as someone so tall, I struggle with them. They're hard. They're at a very hard stage of the race. And there's probably 30 seconds there in the lunges, like just to be competitive.
Would lunges be tougher if you're taller? Can you not reach out further, no? Or is that?
But your knee has to touch.
It's always touching the line.
Your knee has to touch the grass, and then you also have to have a full hip extension at the top. So the taller you are, the further you have to go down, and then the more you have to like stand right up. So they're hard anyway. Maybe it's just for me personally.
You're making it back up.
They're hard for me anyway. But hey, like I say, there's plenty of room.
It's all hard for me. I do like the fact that it's hard because you see there's plenty of room for you to work. Or I'm sure you didn't want to hit your peak at the start.
Well, I mean, I know I'm nowhere near it, to be honest. I don't think I haven't really impressed myself. And
you seem to be impressing everybody else.
No, no one gives a fuck about triathlon. Like, it's like, a couple of results in Hyrox and everybody knows that you're a half decent athlete, but I don't think I've done anything in my head. I haven't been able to stay on the gas. Well, it was Dublin, Frankfurt especially, and Glasgow. Even with that time, it's all right, but it's not like, my sled pull, like I say, my sled pull, my row, my lunges and my wall balls were all too slow that day, like, so I haven't done anything where I was like, you were on that from start to finish, so that's going to take time.
See the difference in the pro athlete width, or not even width, but do they be stricter on you and the pro athlete than they would normally, or are they just strict all around?
They're strict all around. It's the same for everyone. The concept, the pro widths is the judges and all are just as strict for open widths. There's no favours. There's no they're not as more stricter for us or nothing. It's the same race, only it's heavier widths. And anybody can go and race pro widths. You can just book a ticket and go. It's not like
you don't need to be a pro athlete to get on the pro. Right.
No.
You just need to train it.
They take that one step further and go and race then, and the likes of Chicago, then you do have to put on a decent performance to qualify. You're not going to, you're not just going to be handed your slot. So, and then at the World Championships there is no open width. So if you qualify open width, you have to race pro on the day of in the World Championships. There is no open width.
Right.
So
and that's what you did qualify for there in Scotland, wasn't it?
The only free races I've done, I haven't done open width. I've only thought I'll just go straight for the juggler, like.
What do you mean by open width? What's open width?
Open width is the sleds are 50 kilos lighter, and then your next one where you'll run on the different is your farmers. So from 32s for the pro widths down to 24s, and then the sandbag lunges are 20, instead of 32. And then the wall ball is 9 instead of 6. So there's a couple of stations, obviously the ergs and the burpees, where there's no difference. Open and pro is the same race, but the pro they do hit hard. Like, see, the time you get to the back half, it's a different feel. Like, it's hell. Like, it fucking is. Like,
are you feeling it in every station? Say, well, like, if you were running the marathon, you're only hitting it at 20 mile. Are you feeling it tight at every station because you're going for it?
Aye, because you're going for it. Aye.
It's not just your grand that'll go away, but like if you trained right for a marathon, you're grand right up to maybe 15 miles. Some people 20 for others. In the last 6 you might get it tight.
Yeah.
But on that,
it's a completely different stimulus because it's not a steady state event. You know, like, no matter how hard or careful you would be in the likes of the sled push, you are going to be burning a match. You know, there's no, you can't. They move that mass. You have to engage everything you've got. Like, so, it's not a steady state event. And it's kind of up and down. And obviously, the fitter you are aerobically, when you go back out to run, then all that lactic that was produced in the stations, then you can start to utilise that and hoover it up. But like, you'll see a lot of the, I wouldn't say just crossfitters, but you'll see a lot of people who have just spent their whole lives in the gyms really struggling to get back up to piss in their run because they don't really have a good anaerobic threshold.
So that's where the anaerobic and aerobic kind of does differ.
Well, I think you're trying to run at your anaerobic threshold. Do you know that if you are running close to your anaerobic threshold out of the stations, then you're a strong athlete. Like, do you know, if you can get back up to that pace, because the stations, like, say, like a sled push, I've tested and I've been like at 7.8 millimoles of lactic for a 50-meter push. That's a lot of lactic, and like, it might take me, say, 200 meters of that K before I can settle back into my anaerobic threshold pace. Now, my lactic might never go back down below 4 millimoles, but I can tap back into that pace. And that's probably the biggest difference between people moving well and not so well in a triathlon or Hyrox, is getting back into a fast enough pace, quick enough. You can just see people's shoulders and stuff starting to drop, and their whole
the full demeanour just goes.
Everything, their chest. You can just see it. You can see it, like. It's normally like after sled pull burpees.
See, coming from the likes of even marathon running and getting a medal at the end, what? The first time you're handed a patch, what were you thinking?
I know.
Serious, but I know the whole marketing thing behind it, and you have the bags and stuff like that there. But
I agree.
When I seen ones getting that there, I would have been disappointed personally.
I agree with you. Definitely agree with you.
You got 2 patches, didn't you?
Well, that's it. I got a Red Bull one for 100 wall balls unbroken, like, too. So.
All right, excellent. What's that mean? That's just
so when the last station is wall balls, and they'll give you a Red Bull.
If you don't stop,
patch.
Essentially.
If you don't stop, like. If you don't stop, like. So it's 100 squats. I think I had to throw 109 or 107 to get it, like, because you get no reps if you don't hit the right target, or else if your squat isn't deep enough.
And they'll not count that as as a stop, essentially. No, they'll count that as you're still going, as long as you keep going. You just never hit the target.
Yeah, like, I know one young fella I'm still coaching, he don't know how to throw 140 wall balls to get out of the wall balls. He had 40 no reps.
40. I'm
no
sure
reps.
he stopped a few
That's hell
times.
on earth,
I'm
like.
sure he's not got his Red Bull at 140.
No, he didn't. He stopped a few times. I
couldn't blame him.
It took him a few weeks to get back to training. It scared him for a wee while. But the patches, and no, I'm not a big. No, I actually have them in my van's like a wee bit of a day van, and there's a carpet and I have them up on that wall. Like, that's where I have my patches. The built for athlete bags and all. You know.
Not for you.
No, I'll keep my Ironman World Championship one.
And what is it you get for that? The medal, or is it
for
Ironman? It's medals. It's not
it's a big,
or even trophies.
It's a nice big medal. Like, looking back, I've obviously have a lot of them. And like my 2014 Derry marathon one it's still one of the best medals. Of a big bronzy looking things. Right. They were class. Like,
I didn't see the one they were handing out. Was it last year, or maybe not the Bentley 10 miler past the one before?
Bad.
This wasn't even a medal. This was a plaque. He was using kettlebell swings for it, for a video and everything at this stage. It was that size. I think someone fucked up and had a or ordered the wrong size.
Aye.
It was massive. It was like a plaque for your wall.
Aye.
And it was for the smallest wrist that we actually done and got something off.
You fucking put it out in the shed.
No, we were the same. Me and Paddy, we were trying to outdo the Couch Day 5K and decided to do a Couch Day 10K. Went down to Glenarm it was, and on the day we were looking about and seeing different people and different start lines, and started asking one of the girls at the start, what's the difference in all this here? He says, well, that's the 10K and then that's the half marathon. I'm like, what's the difference in that? We were only training for a 10K, haven't even had 10K yet. That's about double or whatever, and we said, can we sign up for that instead? So instead we ended up doing the half marathon trail run down Glenarm with 10K training, but I enjoyed that. It was good crack. So it was not
brilliant. It's mad with the head. See if you
just
put
there
yourself
on the
in
spot. We were just looking. We says, how do you much extra is it or what? She says, no, here's a sticker. Just stick that over the 10K, and we just stuck the wee half marathon sticker over it, and that was how we got onto it. But we were supposed to do that as a 10K, but no.
What a trail was.
Didn't know the difference in a trail run, the normal run. We were not wearing normal shoes.
Sometimes ignorance is bliss, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I have a wee cousin, I don't know if you've seen it going about, but that project Vietnam that he's doing.
Don't know.
He's running 100 kilometres every day for 20 days. They go across Vietnam. He's running across Vietnam. So he's 100 kilometres every day, so 2,000 kilometres.
That's fucked. That's mad.
He's sick. I was chatting to him when we were going to Budapest, I think it was. Was either Budapest or Glasgow? And I says, what do you update the weekend? He says, just running wise. He says, I might just go out, he says, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, do a marathon each day. I says, oh, happy days. And the next week I was chatting to him. I says, how'd you get on last week? And then a couple of marathons in a row. He says, so I just went out the first day and done them all. I says, what do you mean? He said, I done 110K or something that day. And
Jesus Christ.
And his plan is to do it with a hammock and honey. That's his only, he's depending on the people of Vietnam to feed him. He lives there anyway.
Hammock and honey.
A hammock and honey.
Fair play.
Hammock and honey,
Is he from Derry?
Originally from Derry, Dylan Coyle.
Don't know.
No.
Fuck
No, he's mad.
That's class.
He's nuts.
You need a bit for that, like.
That's his mindset. He doesn't care. He's doing it for, he works in a school out there, and I think it's for underprivileged Waynes or something like that there. Not 100%. And that's sort of what he said. But he's doing it for the Emmons, for raising money for Emmons, and he's.
If you're getting tight in 2 weeks' time in the Belfast
Barn, the fact that I'm slagging me not doing Belfast, but no, Belfast with no training, that'll be fun. Are you down at Belfast? Have you ever done that one?
No, I've never done it. Outside of that one, I've never done a marathon. Outside of off a bike, no, I've never done a stand.
You never, right?
No, only that one.
The Derry one.
The first one. I've never done a marathon. I don't think to be honest, I'm too big. You know, I don't think I wouldn't do much at a time. Like, I don't think so anyway.
But anything sports-wise, does it have to be competitive with you? Is that the thing?
Oh, aye. If I'm a man. But then they get a competitive time. They get like a 2:30 something marathon. Then I would have to fucking
only run
and slam way down, and I don't know. I just don't think I would. I don't know. I think my body would break down. But sure, if you're fucking that would be hard. No, the minute you sign up for a marathon, that would be the program.
You would have to. You would have to.
You know what I mean?
Would you not use the marathons as a way for training for the Ironman?
For Ironman,
that's kind of what we done when we were training for our first marathon. We started signing up to a pile of halves. Just to train, we run them with a crowd, stuff like that. There.
It's a different, like off a bike is you're probably chatting about top of zone 2 piss wise. It's a different thing. Like a standalone marathon, you can run it a lot quicker. So I think off a bike is as stupid as it sounds. It's safer. Do you know what I mean? It's like it isn't a fast pace. No,
you'll never injure. Well, less chance of injuring yourself.
Because you won't really tap into much quicker pace. Now your heart rate won't be zone 2 off a 112-mile bike, but that's the pace you'll be running at. Do you know what I mean? No, your heart rate will be elevated by like say 20 beats. You know, off a bike like. But that takes a lot of see at like 90 mile on a bike. The wee men are starting to talk to you, like your legs are starting to get tight, like, you know, and you have a full marathon to get off and run, like, you know. And people say to me, what's harder, Hyrox or an Ironman? And I would look at him going, are you serious? Like, no, are you for real?
I was chatting to someone and they says that even a marathon would outdo a Hyrox, would it? Marathon would be tougher than a Hyrox, do you believe? Just, well, depending obviously if you're doing it competitively, or even if.
Well, I suppose everyone's like on their own limit. So if you can run a 2:30 or if you can run a 4 hours, you're on your own limit for 4 hours. Or, do you know? So I mean, like a Hyrox is an hour and 30 or whatever. I think 2 hours at best. Like you can't compare them. Like 4 hour marathon.
I'm what, roughly 4.5 hours. I'll do a marathon, and in the last hour you're kind of. You're talking to yourself, you're shouting at yourself.
My old friend, like, it is.
Where's the darkest place to talk you? Ironman?
Oh, probably my first, My first was...
Where in your head did it take you? Normally it takes you somewhere.
People dying and all. How to cancel out the pain, I like to use that as a... I even do it in Hyrox and all that. But I was a prolonged one in Barcelona. So I like to think of people who have died or people who might die. It sounds a wee bit fucked up, but that's my way. It counteracts the pain, do you know what I mean? No.
That's it. You're doing it for something and there's a cause. I remember it was actually Paddy. He was saying to me that he was getting it tight at the end of Glasgow, I think it was. And he says he just happened to look in the crowd and see a man in the wheelchair. And as soon as he seen the man in the wheelchair, he's like, this man couldn't do this. He's like, I'm complaining about sore legs. That man's completely different. He's
100%.
So that's...
There was actually people on the course on wheelchairs and amputates and whatever. And see when you see them and racing Hyrox, and obviously they have a wee bit of they get through some of the stations, but they're on amongst it, like.
See, have you seen people on wheelchairs do the Hyrox? How do they do the stations? What?
So they'll fill in a form before they start, and they'll be like there's certain stations where they'll get what would you call it? A different version of that station. Do you know what I mean? They let them compete.
But I'm not being funny, but the likes of the
push. Hard. I don't know.
Have you watched them do it now as you were there doing it? I'm wondering.
I've seen them
on the track. I've seen them on the track. That's how I knew it as disabled friendly, of course. But
yeah.
So you're going out now to Chicago. Are you being sponsored to go out there?
KSK Rathmore.
What do they do?
Kindly sponsored. They are Orbital Welders. They're a recruitment agency for welders and the likes of that, like for the big companies. He's ended up a good friend of mine, Don McDermott. Kindly said that they would sponsor me, so they got me flights, hotels, overwhelmed. That's
excellent.
You wouldn't.
You don't get that in wee towns, do you, as much?
No.
Not for a sporting event.
No.
That they're never going to see nothing back from, because I doubt they have places in Chicago. Maybe they do, maybe they...
No, they don't. So KSK, and that was a good wee while ago, like, and then obviously
they stuck with you always.
Stephen McGugan there from Northwest Plastering as well, also kindly donated me money, and I was able to go up and get heaps of supplements and stuff with. So to be honest, I probably wouldn't have went to Chicago
if it was off your own dime nearly.
I don't know.
Which would have been very disheartening if you've got a talent for it.
Well,
or not a talent.
I think next year I'll be before I'm good, like, in my head, like.
Do
you know? I don't think I'm not there yet, like. Because
one of the hardest ones in the world, is Chicago on the top of the world.
It'll be the best of the best, like.
And you still don't believe you're there?
No,
That's mad. That's mad. I know, it's excellent. It's great thinking that.
I'm not, like. So, like, you strip it back to last August, I tore my calf. I was leading into an Ironman, and then I had like 8 weeks of no running, and then I was very scared of running right through to Christmas, and then I was scared of the pro weight, so I was putting on extra weight that probably didn't need to be on there. Like, so to be honest, the first two that I done, I was nowhere near my best. Glasgow starting to get, obviously it's decent.
Great time. And what was your time?
58:22. So it's not, but in my head, I'm not.
You're not.
I'm not overly impressed myself.
And that's all you need to impress, I suppose.
Well, that's it. But hey, you know what? Hyrox it's huge. Like, it's fucking huge. You see from Glasgow, like, I'm like Instagram, for example, probably get about 600 follow random. No, I don't.
Just people that wants to see what you're doing.
I ain't great in social media, like, you know, but just like Hyrox is.
No TikTok yet.
It's huge, like no
No.
TikTok, not yet.
What is the time needed if you're going out to Chicago? What would you need it to hit, or does it kind of go across the board on an average?
No, well, it'll be age group. So my age group's 35 to 39, and so first, second, and third will qualify. So it doesn't matter if first is an hour and one, that's the qualifying time. Do you know that? Because not all courses are the same now. Do you know, it's very much like a half marathon or a marathon. Do you know, some of the courses are longer than others. Do you know, so you could do a 58 and just about won your age group on one course, but you could go to an hour course and be closer to an hour. And still won your, do you know, so it's not a time thing, it's an overall placement. So it's first, second and third in every age group will get the first shout. But say I qualified in Dublin and then my slot would have rolled down. It's called a roll down. So
because you turned it down?
I had already qualified in Dublin in the first race.
Right.
So see, whenever I won my age group in Glasgow, that would have pushed my qualification spot to second. So that would have been second, third, fourth. And then if someone else is qualified, then it would push it on down another one, you know.
So essentially you won that for Dublin, not for...
I was qualified before Glasgow.
Right, and people's only hearing about it then from Glasgow, essentially.
Must have been,
I know.
I had qualified in Glasgow, in Dublin.
At Dublin,
I got a penalty. I
was going to ask you about that.
I went on a lap early, like, so.
And you thought you didn't have a penalty at the start, did you?
Oh, big time.
And did they go back and look?
No, I did.
What? Did you go back and even ask, or?
No, I went on free. I must have done, do you know what I mean? But I've genuinely thought I didn't, but I did.
I heard a pile of people saying that about their
laps.
In Dublin especially, so I wonder, does it come across as a tricky one?
In my head, I was like, went over the line, and then I was like, because of my watch, I was like, I went on the wall balls, and I was like, fucking hell, you're going to break an hour your first time out here, like, no, because I could normally do wall balls in like 4 minutes, 4-ish, and the 9 kg, no, it just, the minute I left it, I was like, oh no, I have no arms left, you know. So it took me, say, fucking 5-something minutes. So I was looking on my watch, it was an hour and 30 whenever I ran up the run over the line. I thought I was happy enough. And I looked and I was like, an hour and 30 seconds plus a 3-minute penalty. So the penalty I was doing, it was a 4-lap course, and I was like 4:04 roughly for the 4 laps. So the lap would have took me a minute, and then they hit you with a 3 minutes, so your net 2 minutes. So technically I should have went over the line at 1:01:30, which would have got me 4th overall, like, and automatically would have qualified me for Chicago. But then I think one of the fellas who, like I say, had his qualification, I got an email in to say, but in my head I wasn't going to take it because I finished outside the qualification spot. But in my head then I thought, you know what, if you got what you wanted, essentially. If you hadn't fucked up in the run, you would have qualified, you know. So happy enough to take it.
Did you look at your watch even and kind of try and work it out in your head? Did you do it, or?
No. Do you know?
Could you tell?
Not the first. There's like thousands of people, so you're like weaving through, and there's like so much energy getting lost until you learn. Like my first one, I lost a lot of my energy dealing with crowds. Dealing with crowds it's insane. Like you come out off the run, you come out of the stations on the run course, and there's a fast lane and there's people walking on it, and then there's like 10 people deep, and you have to swerve away out past the 10 people to get back in. And it's just there's a lot of matches getting burnt, you know, especially mental matches. You know, so like say if you've dealt with like 3 or 4 lane waves in one lap, and then you were sort of, you know, worried about that. Before you know it, you're like, oh fuck, have I done 2 laps or 3 laps, or what have I done here? So my I know. Well, my thing is now, all I look at is me lap time. So that's the only thing I'll look at. So see, whenever I come out of the stations, back out on the run track, I'll lap my watch.
Right.
And then obviously, say if it's a 4-lap course and you look down, so there'll be an in. If you're like 20 meters, you look, and you're like, say if you see 2 minutes, you know you have an hour 2 laps to do. You know, if it's a 3-lap course, you can work it out. You know, if you don't see like close to 4 minutes at that in, you know you're not going. You
aye.
know if your pace is 5 minutes and you come 20 meters from the end and you don't see 5 minutes, then you know you have an hour lap to do.
Aye.
Do you know? And like that for me anyway. That's the only way I'll ever race again now is a time. No, just
off your own
lap time. That's the only thing I'll ever look at. Like
because you say when you're going on that head and on that space, even towards the end, I know that was towards the start there.
100%.
But you probably can't count the 3 nearly after doing.
$1,000,000%.
Aye.
You know, and then you're kind of relying on there's a screen, so there'll be a timing mat that you'll go over, and then like say 40 meters that way, there'll be a screen where Sean McLaughlin lap 1, lap 2.
Oh, actually does.
There is a screen, right? But sometimes, so say the men's doubles had started at this stage, and say 60 people goes over the mat, and they're running, say for example 5 minutes per k, and you go over just behind them at 4s. They have to. It has registered this big crowd, so it has to go through all elements first, and sometimes you barely get to see your name. Do you know what I mean? So relying on that screen, your name mightn't come up if you're moving. Do you know? So lapping that on every out that was a game changer for me, because all it takes is a wee glance, and you're like, you know, if you see Fantasy Island times, you know you've an hour lap to do. Do you know what I mean? You know,
if you're impressing yourself, go again.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. If it's a 2 lap course, if you look, no, obviously 2 laps is very simple, but I mean, like Dublin was tricky. No, the first was 2 laps.
Is there any that's just 1 lap? A lap will be a kilometre, no? Or
the one I'm going to 4 weeks, the day or the week after Slough. That's 1 lap.
Where's that?
Berlin. That's an out and back on a airport.
Airfield. I was actually chatting it was actually Pat there again, and he was saying, we PT Pat, he's on it, I'm not. I just learnt about it all off him, to be fair. But he was saying that one out there would probably be best for times because you are cooling down outside. Would that be a thing?
It would be. I don't know how much respect people put on it either as a time because of I think there's a lack of a rock zone there. So I don't know. I'll see in a couple of weeks. I don't know how quick it is. If you see me doing a 55 something, then you know it's fast.
Know it's
but I think it is. I think the way it's set up is very quick to get on out of. So I don't know how much clout it would have as a time. Do you know what I mean? No.
And if it's a sudden turn too, some people kind of slide at that in injuries too, I suppose.
Like see with inside these centres, see like you down watching it, like there's so much time lost inside. So see when you come in off your run, that's you on the rock zone, right? But when you go over your mat for your ski erg, like there could be a row of 60 skis, so you have to run down the furthest point to get back out to make it fair for everyone. Do you know? So there's an extra. Each like the skis, the sleds, or the row, them 4 stations. There's probably about 400 or 500 meters of running. On them stations. Do you know? Because if me and you run on the ski ergs together, and you go to number 1, which is 60, 70 meters down there, and I start up here at the top, well, I just can't go straight back out this way. No,
you have to go down and round, right?
No, it's not fair for the person down at the far side. So everyone's put down and back up. There's a lot of dead time in Hyrox that people don't talk about. Like.
Well, everyone would just try and go to
the rock zones do vary. That's why I'm saying, like, so the piss, like you're.
Oh, so they're not right. I get you now. So them rock zones aren't taken into consideration, depending on the size and stuff.
The likes of Frankfurt, it was a huge venue, like, you know, so an hour and whatever it was, 2 was. I had a bit of problems in the sled pull, but that was like I saw in my head. I had a decent enough race in Frankfurt, but it's just the sheer size of the arena. And when you come on off the stations or on off the runs, they go to your stations. There's a lot of dead time, like. So when you go and do a sum here, the sums I think should be pushed out to like at least 1.1 k at least minimum. I think even more, like, you know, just to allow you for that, because if you're doing a sum here, like you're getting say 52 minutes or something, it's just not. It's not.
It's not. I realise.
It's not, like, and then like if you go and do a people like the judge some people's times are getting judged off a sum in comparison to an official one, and it's just not the same. It's not, like,
it's laughable nearly.
Well, in fairness to Finney's is very, the Maiden City one is his Very
I
close.
hear a good few people saying that about
It's a good course. Good. It puts on a good race.
See the difference between dieting and that there? I know there's a lot of eating when it comes to the Ironman. See before a Hyrox, what to eat? What food-wise intake?
Aye.
Are you carb loading? Are you...
Mine is a weird one. It's
Right.
like night time. So the pro divisions is always at night. Whereas all
your whole day's meals
exactly,
on the essentially,
it's
right?
weird, like, so, I mean, normally marathons or triathlons,
Mornings.
you're up in the morning, you're whatever you're
Breakfast,
gonna,
heavy,
whatever you're going to do, and you're away, whereas it's different, like, you don't race day 8 at night. So it's weird.
Are
It's
you
different,
eating
like.
during the day just normal then, essentially, or...?
On the day of the race, I would have a normal breakfast. I would stay away from fibres and stuff for a couple of days leading up to it. You know, I wouldn't take much fibre. I would keep it simple on the day, like breads and pizza, pasta, whatever. Like I wouldn't. The day before is more important. So 2 days out from your race is the most important day for glycogen. To top up your glycogen. So the day before, I would have a couple of bigger meals, and I would have like a couple of different bags of like Haribos and fuzzy sweets. And so I really overdo the sugar 2 days out, or the day before, sorry. So the day of the race then is, it's just, you don't want to become heavy either. No. So you don't want to be eating too much.
You want to be like a wee hyper windy?
We would rather less,
sugar?
wouldn't you? You know, see the day of the race, you don't really want to be having big massive plates of pasta at 1 o'clock and you going out to try and race at 8 o'clock at night. Like
that's massively different from the Ironman. What would you eat the morning of one of them?
The morning of the Ironman? Nothing much, you know.
No.
So
throughout the stations of them air throughout's completely different, aren't they, than a marathon? It's not just water and thing. I seen, what was it, like in an Ironman? I seen like tents full of food and ones, and I was like, it's nuts.
The best, well, not even just the best, but the old theory was 90 grams of carbohydrates was all that the body could consume or break down, whereas now they're like 120, 140. So like 140 grams of carbohydrates, it's a lot of gels an hour. This is per hour. Like I never really pushed things out that far, but I did my last one on Salou. I was like 90 grams, and I had a decent breakfast. I had a great race, but that was only a half Ironman. But it would extend out. Do you know? I think when you're in that triathlon scene, you're always chasing weight and thinking, no, not eating is good. No, I don't know. It's just a weird. It's a bit of a fucking. But I know you need at least 90 grams of carbs.
Is there rumours that you're doing your own sim, is there?
There is, it should be released tomorrow. Tomorrow at the latest, in Ebrington.
Well, sure, so it'll not go out for another week anyway, so it'll be released and all.
It's going to be released,
Is this the whole thing that some boys run around talking about Ebrington, that something's happening on it, is it? Is that what it is, what your man's on about?
It's Ebrington Square, 2-day event in Ebrington Square on the 2nd and 3rd of August. So
will lose class as an official time then if people get it off that, or are you tied on with Hyrox on it?
This'll be
at some.
This'll be a sum as well. It'll be a well done sum. It'll be there'll be no stone left unturned. Like.
And what's your dream for it? What is the
participants?
Goal? In general, the whole lot. What is the game plan?
If that place gets good weather. Over them 2 days, that will be a sellout event for a long time. Like, it's epic. It's fucking unreal. You know, it's a free lap course, sample, free laps and out. You know, you're running this way down the square, you have the Peace Bridge, you turn left, you're looking down the River Foyle. It's just different. It's just it's going to hit different, you know. And then obviously with all the hotels and bars and cafes and stuff around the place, like anyone who comes and does it's going to be impressed.
It's
a class spot, like.
No, it is. It's a nice. Hey, it's where everyone wants to go when they're in the city. To be fair.
Exactly. So it's going.
When is it? Do we know a date yet? Or
2nd and 3rd August.
2nd and 3rd August.
2nd and 3rd August. There's going to be everything from solos, mixed doubles, relays, and we might even be putting on a wee kids one on first thing on the Sunday morning.
See, I heard about a kids one before, but then I heard there was nobody training the kids for these kids ones. Is it just one that Waynes can go and do for fun that day, or do they need to be half fit?
It depends. You wouldn't be strict with them, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want them doing sandbag lunges with heavy, weights. It would be body, in my opinion, it would be body weight stuff, you know, the likes of them. Like, wall balls. It's hard to say. You know, even if they could do the squat, like air squats or something. I don't know.
Aye.
Do you know, it wouldn't be strict as such.
And is your young boy doing it?
Me and my eldest wee boys going to do where is it? Loch Macquarie up in Oma. Me and him. He's 18. Like we're going up to do a double sum in a couple of weeks' time. Like so.
Aye.
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh,
like.
really?
Aye, that'll be good. Like that'll be good. It'll be a good experience. I'm really looking forward to
Is
that.
that his first day? I think.
It's his first day. We actually done a wee half summit day, a wee tester. 500-meter runs in the full stations, but he's 6'5". Like he's a fucking. He could be.
Like my size.
Aye, that's it. The wall balls is.
He's just doing that for the wall ball.
Like, it's mad. He makes the ski erg look small. Like I put my arm up, my arm goes up over him like that. Like. He's big. Like if he was, he plays a wee bit of basketball, but I wish he would get at the Hyrox. Like
Who's my put him on there?
hopefully, aye.
Chances as it will.
So Ebrington's going to be class. The marquee that's coming for the stations is 50 metres by 30 metres. So that's a huge, like it's huge. Like it's the same size as Shandon's footprint.
Right.
So that marquee will have obviously all the stations. Weather doesn't matter what the weather's doing. That'll be protected.
Aye.
Hopefully it's good
But
weather.
will you be running in the wet then if the weather's bad?
Every summer you run the wet.
Do you anyway? Aye, right.
Aye, my last one in Shandon's, I went outside and I got hit with a thunder. Like it was like, I mean, passing down. No, there's no way around it. No, unless the full thing's contained inside.
Aye, you're probably doing stupid laps in. You could be 5 laps or anything.
Aye, no, you can't marshal that either. Like, you know, so like if it was inside, say like Shandon's, it's eight laps. And you just how do you get counters for that? Like, you know. So they're all outside technically, but like there's no, like if me and you sign up for Hyrox, right, and you go and do it and it's wet or whatever, you can't turn around after and be oh it was great, but the weather, you sound out you but you can't complain about the rain. You're going up to take lumps out of yourself in a Hyrox, you know what I mean? No, everyone's getting the same.
And are you doing this Hyrox of your own, or do you have to kind of run in the background?
I don't think I'll do it. Like I don't think so. Well, I'd rather just be there for the full thing, hand out
And you do train people for Hyroxes too?
Aye. Yeah.
And do you have spots there is always available kind of thing? Or does
people come and go. It's pay as you go. Like so, some days it's busy, some days it's not. But it's always there. Is
it classes or is it one-on-one? You do or maybe both?
I don't really do one-on-ones. I'm not. I do 3 classes a week, and then I do online coaching. That's probably where I'm getting the most results. Is giving someone their full week's training, instead of just bringing them in and doing one class with them. Like so, I'd structure a week and give them all their endurance work, their speed work, or whatever, station strength.
And is that more like a campaign? So if they sign up there, it's a 6-week thing, or is it a?
Well, the majority are there longer than 6 weeks.
No, that's what I was thinking. But is there like a limit on it or anything?
No, I don't set a limit. No, for them. But it's like they'll start. It's a month, and it takes about, to be honest, see, to start developing your aerobic engine. Like it's not going to happen in a couple of weeks, you know. But even this morning, a young fella, he sent me a screenshot of his 6 months ago, he done a 5k or 10k, and he was 53, was he? 53 minutes and he took like just shy of 10 minutes off. He retested today, and it wasn't to say he came from like a complete sofa. You know, he was training, he was doing a lot of training, but he was just doing a lot of the wrong stuff, you know. So I seeing them type of results is, I like online coaching. I coached a couple of, I will say, top level junior triathletes like for years. Like the 2 of them are still representing Ireland. One of them went on his way now to university and all, but I still coached the other young fella. Like and obviously, them 3 or 4 years, whatever it was, set me up well if they step over and they
the coaching side of the Hyrox. And how does someone reach out to you if they want to do it? Facebook
or Instagram.
What is your Facebook?
Just Sean McLaughlin.
Just Sean McLaughlin, just
Yeah. Sean McLaughlin. They'll get me on that.
When's your classes and where?
Down in Transition. That is down in Springtown. 6 a.m. to 7:30 Tuesday, Thursday, and then a Saturday is 6:30 to around 7:45. Like so.
All evenings.
No,
the mornings. Sorry,
they're all mornings. Yeah, they're all mornings, and we actually do a barbell class on the Tuesday and Thursday night, which is really like that's what I go to myself. You know, they get me strength training. You know, on top of the other Hyrox stuff I do myself.
Where is that gym again?
Springtown there.
It's on Springtown.
Springtown, yeah. But it's Hyrox is good. Like it's you might be end up doing one.
No, I've already said so.
Ebrington.
Aye, I'll do Ebrington. There you are. That's me now. I have no choice. I've opened my mouth. Sign sealed delivered. It's on camera. I'll edit that out there, Miguel.
You do doubles. You do doubles.
No, I'll do a single. How long will it take? Right. So from someone that's never done a Hyrox like me that wants to do Ebrington, when should I start training for it?
Not yesterday.
Aye.
If not yesterday, tomorrow.
No, but that's what I mean.
So you have the running.
I have the running.
No, she just get.
I don't have fast running, but that's the
no,
only thing.
that's all right.
Does that matter?
No.
No, I'm not going for a time in a Hyrox.
No. Hey, look, that's
what you says.
Aye. Like you, like see the stations. It'll only take you a couple of months. But you would want to be starting like if you're going to.
I done a class one morning, and I done alright at some of the things like a farmer's carry stuff like that there. I'm a big enough boy to carry them kind of things, so it was grand with stuff like that there. But
the sleds and all
skier couldn't work a thing out. Couldn't. First time on it, didn't know what it was for.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's just new, isn't it? I've never seen it before. I never knew.
A lot of
it's weird. It's really weird.
I started with it when I started Hyrox last year, but I took it well enough, you know. But a lot of people.
It's where your height helps, does it?
I think so. Obviously, the most important part of the stroke is up right at the top from about there, like you know, whereas people they get lower and lower and lower. Do you know?
If you're not doing the one in Ebrington, can I sit in your shoulders while I'm doing it?
That's right.
Is that alright?
I'll give you a scotch, yeah.
So when you are doing Ebrington, who is in it with you? Is it just yourself doing it, or who's in the background with you? Or
no, I wouldn't be able to organise something like this myself. So not a chance. So Darryl McDermott, Darryl, and then we
do Hyroxes also, or is
he
it
does?
just...
He does. I coach him online. Made good improvements, and then there's a couple of fellas in the background who help make it happen with the executive for the squares. They're from Belfast. They're not from Derry, so. A couple of people who own buildings in the square reached out to the tenants and obviously the executive and so I know it's not me. It's not just me. Like, do you know? There's
sponsors. Do you have many sponsors sponsoring you over there?
There's a few already. Like I say, once we
not allowed to be announced.
Once we release this, I think sponsors will be and they'll be getting. They'll get enough.
Is there a limit on sponsors, or is there still room if? I don't know, if I own a gym and I want to get my name on it, or there's room for sponsors.
100%. There's room right round the track, and also on the stations. You know, up the side of the stations. So anybody who sponsors will be.
So someone can reach out if they're looking to sponsor yourself, or what do you call the other fella?
Darryl McDermott.
Darryl McDermott, and does he social media as well, or just
he has yourself? Facebook. Facebook.
Just on
so I just reach anyone wants to reach out. There actually is an Instagram and Facebook page just set up there for Ebrington Hyrox.
So go through that for a faster result, essentially, because one of you can get back.